Hello. It's such a nice day. It's a beautiful Thursday, and I am so excited to have you guys here today. When you jump on, say hi. Let us know that you're here. Let me pull it up and just make sure that we are live in the group. Let's see here. Yep, we're here. Awesome. Okay. Super. All right. So I have my good friend Melanie here, and she is with a company called Christian Craft Paper. And if you ordered a journal from me, one of our brand new blessed journals, you will get some of her product because I wrap all of our Bibles and our kits in her paper. Karen, would you grab me a piece of that tissue paper, please? And I'll show you what it looks like, all right? So we wrap your Bible in this beautiful tissue paper, and this is what Melanie gets made. Okay, and this is God So Loved the World. And this is the beautiful paper. Let's see if we can see it. See? Look how pretty that is. Isn't that neat? So we wrap your beautiful new journals in this paper just as a little thank you for all that you guys do. Okay, so we've got Dorothy and Sally on here. How are you, ladies? Okay. All right. So Melanie, why don't you go ahead and you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, and then we'll get right into her product. Go ahead.
Perfect. So Bev just showed you tissue paper. So I won't go into the story, but if you go on my website and read the about, it was a total God thing. I made that paper 7 years ago. God told me to, and I fought him on it. And it is our best-selling tissue paper. And we actually sell a lot of it, some of it for gift wrap, as Bev does, but we sell a lot of it for crafters. So the rest of our products are for crafters. So that's why I'm going to be doing a craft project today. But a lot of what I carry besides the tissue paper is decoupage napkins and rice paper. So we're going to be working with a decoupage napkin today. And the craft that we're going to be doing is actually this little cute little bookmark. We're going to be using one of our hymn napkins. And the hymn napkin we'll be using is Jesus Paid It All. And so I have all of the little things that comes in the kit for that. But I also want to kind of give you an idea of some other things that you will need to do the project if you're rewatching this and get the kit, or you'll have some of this stuff around the house. But you'll also need either an acrylic or a craft. I'll be using chalk paint, but acrylic paint will work just as well. Mod Podge. The technique I'll be using today, especially when you work with the Mod Podge napkins, because all of our napkins, most of them, well, all of them will have words on them, because all of our napkins have either Bible verses or hymns on them, which are super hard to find, which is why our crafters love us, because we're one of the only places you can get them. And so because we're working with words, I'm going to show you the technique that we use to make sure the words don't go wonky on you. And then I'll also be using sanding block today. You can also use a fingernail file if you don't have a block. And because we're working with wood, I'll show you the technique on that. Obviously, brushes, water. I will be using hot glue gun today, scissors. And then this actually comes in the kit. This is what I call a beater. If you don't have a beater, this is actually just fishing wine. And this is my cheat for getting big chunks of ribbon or jute through little holes. So we'll be showing you that as well today. So I'm going to get started by painting the wood bookmark. Now I do carry just the bookmark. We do have some canvas supplies we call canvases on the website as well. So if you don't want to order in bulk, or you're just like, hey, I just want the bookmark and like a napkin and I want to do my own thing, we have those on the site as well. But I'm just going to go through. Actually, I'm going to move this down so you can see what I'm doing, so you don't just have to look at my face while we're going through here. And I'm just going to paint. We're just going to do one side so you don't have to see me do both sides. But I'm just going to paint the one side of the bookmark. And Bev, if any questions come up, will you let me know?
Absolutely.
And feel free to ask questions as we go, so you don't have to listen to me babble. Oh, I also wanted to share too, this mat is a lifesaver. So we actually just released this mat this past week, and I am such a fan of this. I released this mat because this is our silicone crafting mat that rolls up, folds up. You can take it anywhere. And I love it because my son is a craft junkie as well. And he wants to craft where the family is. We have a room dedicated to crafting, but he doesn't want to be in there by himself. He wants to be out here where the family is. And I convinced my husband to get this really expensive countertop for the kitchen. And do you think he wants to let my son craft on this sucker? Absolutely not. So I was like, we need to fix this, but then I had to make it cute. And I also needed the measuring lines for it. And so I designed this and released this, and I absolutely love it because paint doesn't stick to it. Hot glue doesn't stick to it. You can just rinse it off. So it's been such a lifesaver for me, and my crafters have absolutely loved it. So if you are someone that crafts a lot and needs to protect your services, highly recommend. I love
the lines on it for the measurements. That is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of my customers are they do cards, and so they need the measuring lines. We were using the Fisker ones before, which is why I had to design it, because I wanted the Fisker lines, but the Fisker ones, you can't store it because it's that big hard thing. So you have to shove it behind a door or shove it. So you can't like stuff it anywhere, fold it up. It's just really hard to store. So I was actually looking for a silicone one and I couldn't find one. So that's how I ended up making it myself. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and prepare the napkin now. I've just painted the one side. I'm gonna let it dry. You could definitely do both sides, but for the sake of time today, we'll just do the one. And then next, I'm gonna prepare the napkin. So our napkins are custom printed in the United States, and we do our own custom designs. So because we use US printers, we can only custom print the front. If we wanted to do the whole napkin, we'd have to do printing in China. And we're really trying to support US printers and the US economy. And so to keep prices affordable, we just print the front. So if you're wondering why you only get one design, that's why. So we're just gonna cut away the rest of this because we don't want to be working with all of that extra and having it get in the way. So we'll just put this aside. And then also, we only need this very top ply. So I always say in my tutorials, sometimes the hardest part of this whole project is separating these plies. So we do use super high quality napkins. And I get this question a lot because I have had people order our napkins for special occasions, for baptisms, for women's events. One of our napkins is gold embossed, and we've had people use it for like women's, like, I don't even remember the name of it. It was some super fancy event. And you can eat off of them, like you're not going to get sick. They're literally like wedding quality napkins. And so that allows for a really high quality ink that isn't going to bleed. All right, so there are 3 plies. So this, I only got the very back ply off. So I actually have to get one more ply off. And how we can tell is you can't see through it yet. So we know that there's one more ply I've got to get off. When you've gotten all 3, it's pretty see-through, almost transparent. Sometimes if you just like tear a corner, you can get that extra.
I was going to say, is there any kind of a trick to getting the plies separated? It doesn't look like it.
No, the trick is not being on camera and having people watch you. That's the trick. When no one's watching you, it comes right off.
I bet.
I'm like sweaty. I saw it was like a reel or like what do you call it? Like a TikTok or something. And the lady just like licked her finger and was like, tink, and it like went right off. And I was all, shut up. And of course it didn't work for me.
You know, she probably cheated and had it already pulled apart and just faked it.
Probably. I've seen people do it with like double-sided tape.
Yeah.
I'm just terrified of like ripping the design. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not going to work for me. All right, we got it. I've only had one lady that was like, the design tore on me out of like hundreds of reviews, but I was suspicious on that one because I was like, I don't know about that. I see that now. This one's tearing. We've used the same napkin manufacturer since we started, and so that's really helped us with the quality. Oh my gosh, this one is stubborn.
You just have to take your time, right?
This is a lesson in patience. It does help that it has the white border on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the whole 2 years, y'all, this is like the most difficulty I've ever had. So it doesn't get worse than this. All right, there we go. Okay, so you can see how this one is like pretty transparent. That's what we're looking for. So again, if you like a more natural look, you could just put it on there, and that's kind of what it would look like. You would have like a more like natural wood look behind it. And if you like that, you could just not paint it at all. And then since I painted it, it's just gonna make the words pop like a little bit more.
Perfect.
And so I kind of liked that it had the numbers, because it looked more like kind of highlighted that it was like a hymn. So when I was doing mine, I just kind of edged, like kind of lined up the edge there when I placed it on there. If you wanted more of like, maybe you wanted Jesus paid centered on there and you wanted it more, whatever, like this is where you can get creative. Maybe you want to highlight certain words. You could actually tear this in a bunch of pieces and make it all like just strips of words. Like it's however you want to do it. That's kind of where the art comes in. So for me, I am just gonna, this is my my little mustard jar here. Dollar Tree. So I'm just gonna paint my Mod Podge on here. And if you're a newer crafter and you're kind of scared, you can actually half this and go, just do half and then put it on there. So I'm going to line this up this way. And I'm just going to use my edge because it has lines here. And I'm just going to gently feather it down. And this is where you can use saran wrap. I'm just using a Ziploc bag and I'm going to put it over there. And then I'm just going to push it down and work from the inside out. And by doing that, you're going to get rid of all the wrinkles, all the bubbles. You can push hard and work out, and you're not going to smear any of the words.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yes. And then you peel it off, and I'll try and show it up here. And then you can kind of see like it's perfectly flat, like it's painted on there. There's like not a bubble or a wrinkle. All right. So we're going to let that dry. Well, actually, before we do that, I forgot my pen. Before we do that, if we can get, I had a pen over here. Let me steal a pencil real quick. The other thing you want to do on this is before it dries, we want to poke that hole through, and you want to do it from the front so that you don't have the pieces that you poked coming up through at you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get your ribbon through there. Okay. So for the sake of time, usually you would let this dry before you start sanding it off. I am going to hold it with my saran wrap because I don't want to have my fingers when it's tacky, like tear the actual paper. But this is where you would go ahead and sand it off. And when you sand, you want to sand it away from you. And it's just going to start just filing that paper off. So that's how you're going to get like just a nice edge. So this is pretty much how I do all of the wood canvases. You can do, there's another way to do it, which is you can actually, while it's still wet, light it on fire. However, if you do that, it is going to give you an uneven burnt edge. If you like that look, that's cool. I get kind of weird. I don't like how it burns unevenly. And so I don't do that way. I've done it a couple times, but I don't like how it burns unevenly.
Yeah, with the wood, it gives it such a nice finished look to it.
Yeah. Especially these bookmarks because it's darker in between the two pieces there. All right, so I don't want to mess with it too much because it is still drying and I don't want to ruin it. But this one seems to be coming out better than my first one. So there's the so far. All right, so we're going to get our little beater here. This is my cheat. So I'm going to stick it through the hole. Actually, it's easier if you do the tails. So I use this for every time I have to stick ribbon through anything, because otherwise it's like impossible to get ribbon through anything. So it just nicely goes through there. Oh, I did that wrong, of course. You have to put the loose ends because otherwise it's going to get, your beater's going to get stuck in there. All right. So I'm just pulling the tails through. All right, so I got the tails through. And then I can loop them.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so then you can leave it like that if you want. I just kind of added the bead because I thought it was like the tails were a little bit long. So again, with the bead, and you can paint the bead if you want to add some color. So again, you're just putting the beater through the bead, grabbing the loose ends. You always want to grab the loose ends. That's what I forgot to do when I first put it through, because if you grab the loop, then it's not gonna, you don't have anything to pull through and your beater gets stuck. All right, and then you can just tie another knot.
Look how quick and easy this is.
These would make great gifts. Yeah, super cute gift. You could sell these if you do markets. Just gonna clean up the tails here. I'm just doing little diagonals so they don't frazzle anymore. And then the last little thing is there's just 2 little burlap flowers in the kit. So however you wanted to do them, I think for this one, I'm going to do them both in the middle. So I'll just tack these on there. I just like all the texture. And supposedly I read if you freeze your glue gun sticks, you don't have strings. I have not tried this yet, but it's on my list of things to do. I need to try it.
I have never heard that. That is awesome.
I read that. I need to try it.
Well, you let us know if it works, okay?
I know. I'm going to have to try it. All right. So there's just our cute little bookmark. And again, you could do both sides if you want. I just did the front, so.
Oh, that turned out so awesome. I love it.
So cute.
That is wonderful.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, so in case you didn't see it, let me see here. I think I can show you. We're going to try to share the screen at the same time here. There you go. Okay, so this is her website, christiancraftpaper.com, and this is where you can purchase the Jesus Paid It All decoupage wooden bookmark kit. $4.99, guys. She's having this as a special for us, and so you can check that out. She also has a list. These are Bev's favorite things. How cool is this? So this is a napkin that was my design. You can actually purchase this design in a poster from me, and she used that as a napkin, and we did a craft on that a few months ago. I actually still have mine hanging up over there, but we did it in a little wooden frame.
That's sold out, by the way, Bev.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. That's wonderful. And then here is the Bible verse gift tissue sheets. Those are the tissue sheets that I use whenever I'm packaging your items. And then here is the Surface Saver silicone crafting mat. I am getting one of these. There is no doubt I'm getting one of these because I love to craft. And just like you said, I'm a quilter too. So I've got the big ones and you can't store it. If you don't store it upright or flat on something, it gets all curved and then it doesn't work right. So this is so awesome that it's silicone and you don't have to worry about it bending or anything happening to it. So
for quilting, that reminds me too, it's non-slip. So if you have like needles or beads, they're not going to roll because it's not going to roll around on the mat because it's silicone.
Oh, that's awesome.
So perfect for crafters. Like, I love it.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right.
And then, Beth, don't you have a code?
Yeah. Do I have a code? Yes, I do. I do. I'll have to look it up and I'll post. I'll have it listed.
Okay, I can message you too if you need me to look it up.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you do that? Because I'm going to be getting ready for my next thing in just 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll get it to you.
Okay, that'll work. So thank you so much, Melanie, for joining us. So if you want one of these little bookmarks, you can go to her website and get one. She's got a monthly kit that she offers as well. So you've got to check out her stuff. It's awesome. And it's all scripture related, very Christian oriented website. So I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much, Melanie, for joining us. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys all back here in about 9 minutes with our next event. Thank you.
So much.
Bye-bye.